You're watching the Sports Political channel of LB. If you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. Let's get down to business. So we're going to continue on with this whole thing and the fallout involving Boston Celtics head coach Ime Udoka. And we're going to talk about this individual right here. So I did a video yesterday about how Stephen A. Smith was checking her on the stuff she said on TV, and she doubled down on stupid on her NBA Today show when she was talking with Kendrick Perkins. Now, I'm gonna play a clip of what Kendrick Perkins had to say, and I'm gonna play a rebuttal from Malika Andrews, and then we're gonna break this down on the other side. Salute to everybody in the building, my man Trey, Kyle 12, Aja Morris, Nate Damp. Make sure you hit that like button, support the channel if you don't mind. I appreciate it. Because knowing that they were going to sit up here and give out this information and go out here and suspend Ime Udoka and talk about, just give a little details, it's going to have people speculating. And in my eyes, I feel like the Boston Celtics dropped the ball not only in protecting their entire franchise, but in protecting the women as well. They should have made sure that they crossed their T's and dotted their I's before they put this information out. And I get it. Now we're to this point, and now he had to go on here and he had to say this and he had to say that to protect those innocent women. But at the end of the day, man, it just ain't right how they went about it. The word accountability, okay? Accountability doesn't just go to Ime Udoka, okay? Accountability goes to the other people that played a part in that as well. Let me tell you another thing I didn't like about my good friend Wick Grossbeck and Brad Stevens in this press conference when they asked, is anybody else going to be punished? And they said no. And my whole thing is this, right? These are some of the facts that have been out. These are some facts that I know that, this relationship, one of these relationships that was had with Ime Udoka and one of these women, it was consensual, meaning that this woman actually played a part in it too. So my thing is, yes, Ime Udoka was wrong. We get that. His punishment, he deserved that, and whatever else follows, I hate it for him, but he put himself in this position. But why are the other people getting left off the hook? Well, that's the problem. Now, see, I agree with Kendrick Perkins 100% on this issue. Because last time I checked, it takes two to tango. So if you're going to put Ime Udoka out there for public excoriation and for public tongue lashing, why not? When you had, like I said, it took two to tango. If what's his face, Ime Udoka is going to face punishment for that, and they're going to put his business out there, then for the sake of transparency, because the Malika Andrews, that was her whole thing, right? If her whole thing is about transparency, then last time I checked, transparency is a process to where you put everything on the table. And once you put everything on the table for everybody to dissect and interpret in their own fashion, that way nothing is left for speculation. You put everything on the table. You just don't just speak of transparency when it comes to Ime Udoka, but don't be transparent when it comes to the other party involved, because we want to protect that person's feelings or identity or dignity or what have you. So we're going to play the clip for Malika Andrews as she gets on her little nasty diatribe. This was her response to that, what Kendrick Perkins says as she cuts him off mid-sentence. That I have right now, everybody got to be held accountable.
I think that we need to circle back to what Shanae said, is that there was a investigation that was conducted by an independent law firm here, and I think that transparency is what will rule the day here. And so without having all of the information, it is unfair and irresponsible of us to go and to speculate on that, because...
Now, mind you, she said that. Now, Kendrick Perkins not one time speculated on who it was. Not one time. He got on the Boston Celtics for doing that. But not one time Kendrick Perkins speculated on who it could have been or whatever like that. That was on Twitter. That was going on about who could have been or whatever. So what is she talking about? But see, this is what happens when you get a young person speaking on issues. For one, don't know what the hell she's talking about. For two, you give her this platform to spread this agenda, right? And three, where was this energy when Robert Sarver was calling people the N-word, right? Where was this energy with all the other cases of sexual impropriety in the workplace was going on? Those things get kept under wraps, but yet Ime Udoka's business get put out there, and then all of a sudden she got all this energy for that. Man, this woman need to get up out of here, man. Straight up, man, because what she's doing is being disingenuous. You can't sit up there and be condescending. Shout out to Nathan for being a member of the channel. I appreciate it. You're my first member. So salute to Kyle 12 for being a member of my channel. Now, I do have a membership that's going for $1.99, right? So feel free to become a member of the platform. You can't sit up there and be all condescending and beholden to everybody about transparency, but yet you don't even want to speak of transparency when it comes to Ime Udoka. But when it comes to the other party involved, when it comes to the other woman who might be in this, and we don't know who it is, that was incumbent for the Boston Celtics to either A, put everything on the table, or B, don't put it out at all. If you weren't going to put everything on the table and leave it up to interpretation, then you shouldn't put it out at all. It should have been, hey, we're going to fire Ime Udoka, or we're going to suspend him for the season for conduct detrimental to the franchise. We will have no further comment on this issue, and it would have been a dead issue. But instead, you put Ime Udoka's business out there. You got this woman, right? This clap having Jezebel on your thumbnail, running her mouth, speaking of all kinds of trash about transparency and doing verbal double dutch by saying, "Oh well, we need transparency, but we only need transparency for Ime Udoka." See, that's that kind of verbal double dutch I'm talking about. So, and the sit up there, be condescending while spitting out that trash. Listen to this trash.
As what we have to.
Well, I'm not speculating. Sure. I have the information. I'm not speculating.
But what we have to go with here is the fact that an independent law firm came in, did this investigation, and the facts that they were presented, they came to the conclusion that Ime Udoka violated a policy that warranted a 1-year suspension. And I share your frustration with the lack of transparency, while understanding that there is some things that they need to, from a legal perspective, keep private. But knowing all of that, understanding all of that, we have to come to the conclusion that whatever rule, the conduct that was broken on one side, it is not the same on the other side. I think.
What do you mean it's not the same on the other side? It should be the same for all parties. If we're talking about transparency, if we're talking this thing about, well, we need for everything to be on the table, and we need for the entire truth to come out, not the biased truth, not the liar's truth, but the highest truth. Because you can't sit up there and try to call out Kendrick Perkins, and then you try to do the same thing to Stephen A. Smith, and Stephen A. Smith, for once in his pathetic life, checked you on it. This is the one time I actually agree with that Bama. Anybody that follow my channel know I cannot stand Stephen A. Smith. I hate that dude. That dude is a bona fide, grade A, 100% money back guarantee buck dancer. But he got it right here. He got it right in this case because this double Dutch talking woman right here spewing out all that trash that come out her mouth. Well, we need to be tempered, and in the case of the investigation, it would be unbecoming. And look, woman, you don't know what you're talking about. Y'all here trying to spread an agenda, okay? And people see through your nonsense. What do you want? Do you want the facts, or do you want to spread the agenda through these white supremacists that's cutting your checks? See, just because some people think they got a platform and a blue check mark on Twitter or a blue check mark on Instagram, that gives them the green light to be spouting all kinds of trash, spouting all kinds of nonsense, and spread all kinds of agendas. So don't call yourself running your mouth about transparency when clearly the name of the game here is the public excoriation and the public um, lashing of Ime Udoka. Because, see, no one defended Ime Udoka. I was one of the first people before ESPN said it. Before ESPN and all them lackeys came on TV, was running their mouth about him, about fraternization. Who was the first guy that was talking about fraternization? Me, this guy. Everybody else was talking about, oh man, he cheated on D-Law. Oh man, you cheating on D-Law, man. You know what? Well, how you make do something like that, man? You're out there cheating on D-Law. And they out here trying to speak on this man's family situation and all that. And that's distasteful. Apologize for that. Incoming call came in and threw me off. But you cannot sit up there and say this thing about transparency. That's the one thing that burned me up about all this. But you know what? I'm gonna put a link in the chat. You guys can come in and let me know what you guys think about this. Right? I'm gonna post a link in the chat. You guys can come in and explain to me what you guys think about this. Cause see, this woman here, man, and you know, this ain't the first time Malika Andrews been on TV being off code and being off brand. But when you understand the dynamics, right, of someone that's off code and off brand, take a look at this. Now, in case you don't know who this mayonnaise nation member is, that's Dave McMenamin. He's LeBron James flunky. That man is LeBron James flunky. Hey, cut your camera off. Man right there is Dave McMenamin. He's 40 years old and is LeBron James flunky. But this who Malika Andrews want to put her lips on. This who she want to lay up with at night and have date nights and have sentimental secrets and share sentimental secrets with. See, this is this kind of off code, off brand behavior we're talking about. What's up, Terry Smoot? What you got on this, bro? You there? All right, hey, hold on. All right, bro, what you got?
Hey, what up, LB? Hey, good platform, great topic. Shout out to everybody. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. Man, I've been wanting to cook on this for a while because this is what we get with the changing of society. I understand the women's empower movement, but with that, we brought on feminism. And with feminism, like what Maxine Waters said, I'm out here in Los Angeles County, and out here, like, yeah, Maxine Waters talking about black women are going to take up the fight and
And real
everything else
quick,
like that.
real quick, Terry, my bad. I don't mean to cut you off. I want to give a couple shout outs. Shout out to my
Go ahead.
sister Kim Connick in the building, and Michael Lewis, Brandon Ether. I see y'all up in here. Salute to all y'all. Now go ahead, continue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But no, we got like we're having a problem in an uprising here in America that's going to be very bad and detrimental. This women's uprising, I understand that fight for equality, but now this is getting a little bit overboard because the main word accountability, it is not in a female's dictionary. It is not in their diction at all. And Malika Andrews, I know she knows she's wrong for sticking up for for just not identifying the woman, and also there's no punishment for her. I can't understand that because it takes two to tango. Like, and when Kendrick Perkins was hitting on him, she had to cut him off just like she did Stephen A. Smith. And dude, that just looks bad because they gave you the time to speak, say your thoughts, and everything, and then it's their turn to rebut or to say their piece, and that's not happening. And as you can see, this is a feminist movement. I gotta be honest with you, this is a real heavy feminist movement, a movement targeted towards black men. And as you can see, a lot of these sisters that we put in these positions, they don't even date. A lot of them, they don't really date brothers. Tamron Hall. Now you got Malika Andrews. There's a lot of other ones that when we give them a voice, when they try to run on black platforms, they do a complete 180. And so, like, I feel like this is just she's in the whole. She's 100% wrong. She needs to take a seat on this, and I feel like it's probably going to get worse. Like we saw what happened with Deshaun Watson. They cooked him for what, a month? They kept cooking him for like a month and everything, talking about the Cleveland Browns should get rid of his contract. Why is it 230 million guaranteed? Everything like that. So this is just, I see this is just poor. This is really piss poor, to be honest with you, OB.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But see, we all know what's in play here. Look, when it comes to demonizing black men, right? You know what the play is. They're going to use black women to do it, and there's able and willing accomplices of the white supremacist agenda to push this narrative about black men. Like where was all this smoke for Matt Lauer or for uh, Molester Moonves or Charlie Rose, right?
Right, right. We can even take it to the sports. Remember, Stephen Weatherford, a punter for the New York Giants, he beat the hell out of his wife, and
No,
she had to go get his.
that was Josh Brown. That was Josh Brown.
Oh yeah, Josh Brown, that punter. He beat the hell out of his wife. Remember, and then what happened to Chase Wheeler, that Seattle Seahawks player that
Oh
beat
yeah,
his
Chad Wheeler.
girlfriend.
Yeah, another
Yeah,
dude, Chad Wheeler.
remember all them? They barely got light, and they were beating the hell out of women. And then I understand Deshaun Watson, yeah, a little bit of massage, a little bit over massage. Okay, okay, okay. But then with this is consensual. They already said this, so it takes two, both consenting parties. So like I see the agenda. Trust me, I'm with you 1,000%. It's just that, and I hate the tools that they use to take down. We're basically destroying our own community from within.
See, and also another thing that's at play here, they give a lot of these black feminists here justification to demonize black men by saying, "See, I told you black men ain't nothing. I told you black men ain't s. They see, we gotta make our live with the white man. The white man better care of me than a black man ever could."
Okay, and then we've seen in society what happens. Like we've seen a lot of the interracial marriages. I mean, and here's the funny thing: a lot of these women, they're willing to be way more submissive to other men than to their own. Like, and then you got to understand the confirmation bias, meaning that they already have a bias thinking that, oh, black men ain't shit, they're this and that. So what they do is they just wait for any instance in the news, like, okay, a black man did this, and so that'll confirm their bias that they already had. But remember, us as black men, we can't have that. Remember what we can't have no kind of bias, no anything. We just need to shut up and dribble, just shut up and vote. Everything else like that, black men, they're really trying to take our voice away. Anytime we want to speak up on something, nah. There's always what is it called? There's always the contrarian black woman that has to play the counter negative. Anytime we say something, there's always that because, like you had mentioned, that they're going to put that green in their pocket to do this. They're literally selling themselves out for the bag, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like with this whole Malika Andrews thing, like I'm like, she's been getting grilled on Twitter and everything else like this. Uh, this is just really bad, and I understand you mean Joker, like, and I got to be honest with you. I believe you were on Ticket TV a few times this week, and we got to cook on this, like workplace attire and workplace you know workplace what do you call it, like camaraderie. Like now it's going to make it seem like, how do you even talk to females, or how do you address females in the workplace? And if we're looking at that staffer and everything, like like she's coming on, like some of those conversations, they probably were way outside of work and basketball, everything else like that. And plus, like the attire and the dressing that women do, like, I mean, come on, you're inviting trouble, and women know that they're doing this for attention. And then whenever you give them that kind of attention and things like that, then all of a sudden now it's a problem. But you're causing this yourself. You're
But
coming
see,
out. You're
that
coming.
right there is a whole that right there is a whole different ball of wax right there. That's a whole nother topic within
But
itself.
right.
But
But
I'm gonna get to
I feel
the other guests on the panel. Nathan P,
okay.
what you got?
Man, salute to you. I wanted to say, man, you have one of the best shows out here in the streets. I don't agree with Stephen A. most of the time, almost all the time, but this one he got it right, bro. Um, this 27-year-old coming out here, someone twice his age, bringing up shit that's not true, that she came up with her mind. I think it's ridiculous. And bro, I just want to ask you, do you think Stephen A was blaming women? Because I didn't hear that shit at all.
All right, so first and foremost, I appreciate you supporting the channel and all that, man. I thank you, man. So I put a lot of work into trying to make this thing right. And if it weren't for you guys supporting the channel, man, I'm just another person talking on YouTube. But to answer your question, not one time Stephen A accused anybody. If it, Stephen A made it clear from Jump Street that Ime Udoka deserved all the punishment that he gotten for putting himself in that position. But not one time Stephen A came out and speculated. And then this goes to show you that Malika Andrews herself wasn't listening, because the day before she called to the show, Stephen A Smith said, "Hey, look, there's a lot of reports out there. There's a lot of accusations out there. It would be." Basically, he said it would lack the journalistic integrity necessary to speak on that without having concrete facts. But she missed that part though, because see, selective hearing is a thing too. But go ahead.
Yeah, man, I just don't have that much trust or believe in her reporting at all. Um, yeah, she dating a white boy, and I don't agree with it because the white boy is 40 years old. She gives me the Camilla Harris vibes, if you feel what I'm saying.
Well,
You
they're
know,
both
Wait,
from
what?
Oakland, so
He's
there you
how? Wait,
go.
wait, wait. He's how old?
He's 40.
40 years old.
What? Oh
So she,
wow.
so I'm saying like she 27, he 40. That's Camilla. That's Camilla Harris vibes. You know what I mean?
Well,
She just
they
trying to.
both. Hey, they do. They got both. They both got something in common. They both from Oakland. So I don't mean to be casting no aspersions, but my fellas from my
Wait,
people from Oakland. But
she's from out here in California too?
yeah, she's from Oakland, California.
Oh my god, dude. No, go ahead, keep going, man.
Yeah, man. I just want. Yeah, I feel bad for people. I'm in my 30s, right? And it's hard to find good women. And a lot of us, we fall for women like Malika Andrews. And it's sad, bro.
Yep, I agree.
This is
Keith,
bad. Like I didn't know that she was a California kid, and now I see where the whole disrespect, this whole like I could cut a man off, and because out here in California we have, I live out here in Los Angeles County. I live in Long Beach, and heavily blue state. Everything is gearing now towards the women. They got a lot of rights out here, and just the disrespect, and plus the way society's going, and oh man, now I can see where that nasty kind of toxic attitude is coming from, especially up there in the Bay Area. I see it now.
all right. Keith, what you got, bro?
Hey, I'm gonna make it short and quick, man. Just wanted to come on and support. I see you on the other channels too. But I wanted to bring back something that I saw last year that made me stop and think about this females. You remember about the Rachel Nichols situation?
With
You
Maria
remember how
Taylor?
that
Yeah,
jumped off?
yeah,
And during the Western Conference Finals, everybody got mad at Chris Paul, who I'm not a big fan of. But he remember how he played her when she tried to step to him and ask him about his interaction with his family, and he was
yeah,
like, "What are you talking about?"
yeah.
Now we know why. Now we know why. Now we
Wait,
know
she
why.
was she was asking about Chris Paul's family.
Yeah, when he was interacting with his families, you remember that, LB? You remember?
Yeah, I
And
remember that.
and everybody was getting on Chris Paul like, why you treat her like that? And
Why
he
is
was
she
basically,
inquiring about my family though? That has
yeah,
nothing to do with
it
you.
was just after he hit, it was that like a game winning. You remember LB? I don't remember the exact instance or why she said or why she was questioning him, but he played her real cold. And he's like, man, what are you talking about? Because she was said something about, well, what did you say to your family? He was like, I didn't say nothing. He's like, we did it. And then everybody was like, why was Chris Paul so cold to her? You remember that, LB?
Yeah, it was
That was
like that was last year.
yep.
Yeah,
Now we know why.
because a lot of people thinking that Chris Paul was rude to her.
Yes, yes,
This was she was replacing Rachel Nichols. Remember, because of the whole fallout between her and Maria Taylor.
right.
So
Correct.
Rachel Nichols got shoved off to the side. This woman got brought in, and a lot of us out there was like cool with it, because we was supporting the black woman getting her shot.
Right.
But obviously now the bloom is off the rose.
Yeah, yeah. Now we see why Chris Paul probably knew what he was before we did. That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
So with that, man, I'll land my plane, man. Thanks for letting me come up. I just wanted to remind y'all of that. I know you remember that incident, LB. You watch sports like we hang out in a different sports form.
yeah.
That right
No,
there, and when I first seen it, I was like, man, why you being a jerk like that?
no,
But
thank you
now
for
we
even
know
saying
why.
that. I never even knew
No,
about
so
this. You guys just
I
gave me something.
I know what that was about. Chris Paul. She asked Chris Paul about an injury that the ESPN broadcast team was talking about during the game, and then he says
Uh-huh.
like, "Well, yo, I don't know what you're talking about."
Yep.
Mm-mm.
Yep. There we is. I couldn't remember the specifics, but I remembered everybody came at Chris Paul like, man, why you acting like that for the black chick? That was definitely during that Rachel Nichols incident. And everybody was like, why he ain't supporting the black woman? It wasn't that. He knew what she was.
Right? Because
Real
I've
talk.
never seen anybody ever down talk or anything towards Maria Taylor. I can tell you that. Maria Taylor seems like a very upstanding, upright woman. You know what I mean? Very beautiful, everything else like that. And it
It
makes me
wasn't her.
wonder,
It was this. Malika Andrews was the one that was interviewing.
right? And it makes me
Yeah.
wonder what happened with that whole thing with ESPN. How did they get rid of Maria Taylor? And she did nothing wrong.
Hold
She
on.
was
They
just
didn't
a
get rid of her. They tried to offer a contract extension. Maria Taylor told ESPN to pack sand, and she left for NBC for more exposure and more money.
Yep.
I feel you. I
Yep.
feel you. That's a better upgrade.
Yep.
I was wondering about that because I'm like, so in my knowledge, like I never thought that she did anything wrong. She was always good, always on the sidelines. She still dresses modest, and everything else like that. To me personally, I thought that, why would she want to leave? But then I understand like that kind of environment being over there at ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the black people that left ESPN. You go down the line. You go down to Jamel Hill, Michael Smith. You had Stephen A. Smith left and came back. You had all these people leaving ESPN. These black folks leaving ESPN. The Jason Whitlock, even though I don't like that flaky butter biscuit either, right? The butter biscuit eater of worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Whitlock with the chia pet on top of his head, right?
Yep.
Right.
So
But, but with that, LB, I just wanted to bring that up because I know you remember that one. And
yeah, I
I,
remember
and, I,
that.
and everybody was like, wow, why Chris Paul acting like that? Now we know.
Man, ain't Chris
Now
Paul
we
acting
know.
like that. It's like we know what the agenda is now. So
Yeah.
that's where we at on that. But
Keep
I'm
up the
gonna
good work, man. Keep up the good
I,
work, man. I'll keep watching.
I appreciate
All right.
I appreciate the support. Thank you for joining in.
All right,
Eh,
man.
LB, I got a question for you, right?
Yeah.
So you know how when you on TV, they email you the scripts. They email you the scripts before you go on TV to say what you say. Do
No,
you think
they have pre-production meetings, and they basically go over what they're gonna say, and they're gonna go over the talking points before they go live.
so? Do you think Malika Andrews pulled this out of her ass, or do you think this is a pre-production type of deal?
Well, this is the thing. Um, she had this already in her mind because a lot of this stuff gets talked about in real time, right? Um, I think she already had this in her mind because she was kind of bitter about how Stephen A. Smith checked her on first take. Because remember, she called into the show.
And she
Right.
cut the man off after she got to say her full spiel. Then when he's rebutting, she cut him off.
She tries to cut him off, and then but if you remember the very first thing she said, right? Well, as far as all this accusing women things, stop it. Y'all remember that the first thing when she called into the show.
Well, one thing, Zach, that you touched on was just
When she called into the show, first take, right? Hold on, let me pull that. I'm gonna pull up the exact comment that she said.
Oh yeah, she said stop. She said stop, and she
Yeah,
said it in a authoritative way.
But she
yeah,
tried to
like
be authoritative, but Stephen A. Smith wasn't about to let her come on that show and try to run amok. He wasn't about to let her come on his show and run amok. That's what she said. If I could start with this, Stephen A. With all due respect, this is not about pointing the finger. Stop. Okay, but my thing is nobody pointed the finger. Not one time. What's up, Samuel Dumas? Salute to you. Michael, East Oakland 90 Mac, Thierry Dominique, salute to y'all. This was her exact words. If I could first start with this, Stephen A. With all due respect, this is not about pointing the finger. Stop. What became apparent to me in this press conference is that we do not have all the information here. It was frustrating to me that the Celtics declined to elaborate or give more specifics about what happened, about what exactly the rule breaking was that led us to this point. So, and this is why I had a problem with her. Because my thing is this: you don't need to have all the information. You just need to have enough. So you don't have enough critical thinking skills in your head to put two and two together and see that, oh, Ime Udoka committed fraternization.
yeah, that's
Right.
basically it. He was just being consent, had extra outside relationships outside of work. But some people were saying that he was doing it on like company time, and I thought they were doing this in hotel rooms outside of work. I, you know,
Well, whether you're doing it inside of work or outside of work is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is you dealt with somebody that was in the organization. If this was two consent, and now if Ime Udoka was banging somebody out that wasn't part of the organization,
oh, he's in the
this would
clear.
not be an issue right now.
Right,
What people
right.
be saying? Oh man, Ime Udoka cheated on Nia Long. That would be the driving narrative that would be going on. Not that, oh man, Ime Udoka was banging somebody out in the organization. And then it was all these Twitter detectives and Twitter sleuths and these Twitter inspector gadgets that were putting their head on trying to see who it was.
Yes. And I believe Kendrick Perkins even said that because of the Boston Celtics and their report, because due to the lack of information, it caused people on Twitter to speculate, to go and dive in. So there's a lot of, he was saying that now a lot of women are going to be in danger because they're going to be falsely accused of cheating with Ime Udoka because you wouldn't let that woman's name out. That means other women are going to be subjected to speculation.
Right.
Ye- Yeah, and then also it's the women. Like the women set the women back. Like we all talk about like female empowerment, bringing females and women up until the C suite, but you can't be fucking the head coach. You know what I mean? You fucking it up for other women. Not I mean, Ime Udoka, yeah, he has issues, but the woman, that's the issue right there, man. Nobody talk about it.
Well,
And
see,
the
this is my
report,
thing. This is my whole stance on the whole, and this is where I agree with Stephen A. Smith that either you put everybody out there that was involved, or you put nobody out there that was involved. But
fact.
you can't sit up there and have dangle Ime Udoka out there like a piece of meat for the Lions, and then protect the other person that's involved.
That's true. That's very hypocritical right there. That's very
Yeah.
hypocritical.
And then that's why I titled the video the way I did with Malika Andrews playing verbal double dutch, because she's sitting up there talking about transparency, but we only want to talk transparency when it comes to Ime Udoka. But when it comes to the other person that's involved, oh no, we got to protect the sanctity of that because there's legal ramifications behind that. But what about the legal ramification for?
Ime Udoka,
Yeah,
you know?
Ime could sue. He's not gonna sue, but he could though.
If I were him, I would start talking to a legal team because now
Mhm.
they have him. They're like dangling him now because I'm suspended for a year, and then you're talking about I may not get my coaching job back. You're basically dangling him in the wind, and you're actually financially hurting him because I understand he has to face a fine, and then now going forward, he has no like financial security because he doesn't even know if he's gonna have a job.
Right, there's no guarantee that they're gonna bring him back.
So I would have to start talking to lawyers or some because I got to look out for myself financially. Like I understand this mistake was pretty bad. It was like a little bit egregious, but like without the other party getting in trouble or reprimanded, this just seems like you're just demonizing me.
And then another part of that, another aspect of that, you made your doke out to look like a sex predator and all that.
Yep.
Right.
Well, you know what they're gonna say? All black men were very hypersexual. We're this, we're that. You know how those old '80s, '90s points when it came to black men were hypersexual. We're this, we're that. We can't control ourselves. This is just gonna give more fuel to the fire for that stereotype.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm not down with the play at all. Gideon, what you got?
Salute, LB. Salute everyone else in the panel.
What
Malika
up, Gideon?
Andrews just salute. Malika Andrews just doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. Look, she should have at least hear what Stephen A. and Perk had to say before we respond. And here's advice I'm giving to Malika Andrews. Okay, if you want people to listen to what you had to say, know what you're talking about. Okay, have facts to back up your point. Have common sense, knowledge, know to back up why you believe something. Don't just think that just because you have the right to believe it, people should listen to what you said if you don't know what you're talking about. When you said that, hey, Stephen A. Blamed woman, you have that's just disrespectful and stupid. You have no facts to prove that he said about woman. He didn't talk about woman. All Stephen A. implied was either Udoka should be fired or they can hang on to him and try to work something out. Look, listening is such a huge word. I always like the word hearing because listening is a choice. Because I always hear people's thoughts, but if you want me to listen to your thought has to at least be objective and sensible and logical. But what Malika said was just totally out of bounds. You can't say, "Hey, see," you can't blame Stephen A. for saying something he didn't for disrespected woman. He didn't disrespect woman. All he implied is that Udoka either should be let go or bosses should keep him and try to work something out. Malika needs to learn to have facts and good context to her arguments. Not just because you believe what you want to believe, but have facts and context into what you say if you want people to listen to it. I always hear your point, Malika, but if you want me to listen and value your point has to be sensible, true, and or objective. What you did to Stephen A. and even Perk was disrespectful and just wrong.
Well, see,
That's facts.
when you got selective hearing, right, and you hear what you want to hear, right? That's like, to me, is like when I see a German Shepherd and he's playing with a ball, right? And you're
Mhm.
trying to talk to this German Shepherd, and he hears a keyword like, "Hey, you want to go to the park?" Then all of a sudden he drops his toy, and then his ears perk up, and then he looks at you, and then want to tilt his head back and forth,
Right.
and that's where I'm at with that. That woman was distasteful. That trash that came out of her mouth. was disrespectful and
Mhm.
disingenuous because nobody blamed anybody. Us, the whole thing at the whole time was, hey, you made your Udoka messed up. We get
Mhm.
that, but hey, if you're gonna fire him, fire him. If you're gonna put the whole if you're gonna put the information out there, we need to know everybody that's involved in this situation. Don't just put him out there and then protect everybody else
Right.
because of some kind of false sense of transparency, some false sense of protection or what have you like that, right? So look, Malika Andrews is way out of bounds on that, right? And then
Mhm.
she's talking to people who's played. Obviously, she's never been in that situation, or she's never heard of anyone being in that situation. Because if that's the case, then you would not just sit up there and just spout that nonsense. But she spout
Mhm.
that nonsense, and
No, you're right. You're right, LB. You're right. It's just
I agree.
that
I agree,
that's
LB.
that that's that. I feel like that's that women's empowerment, that femininity, because we're giving them a space where they can talk. And a lot of times they talk off of emotion. They're not thinking logically. They're just talking based
Exactly.
off of feelings and experience.
There's no facts. I always say facts over feelings. I always say that. If you want people to take your point seriously, have facts and context, not emotion and bias.
True. And
Because,
like I
sorry,
mentioned,
go ahead. Sorry.
oh no, you got it, homie. Go ahead first.
No, you're about to talk. I'm sorry.
I know it's cool, but thank you all. All I was going to say was just if you look at the times now, accountability can't be had. It's not towards women because they don't want to be
Mhm.
held accountable. Like in this
Agreed.
situation, the next thing is this is just going to give more fuel for, like I mentioned earlier, confirmation bias. So now a lot of women, they can go and look at black men differently because they can say like, oh, black men, they cheat. They're looking for other women on the job. Like, this just feeds into that kind of ideology that they may already have. And then seeing a prominent figure like Ime Udoka, he just took the team to the NBA Finals. Now you see what kind of more confirmation bias that these women are going to have towards us.
No, my part is that she thinks she can argue with a 50-year-old Stephen A. Smith with 20 years experience and yell at him on his own show. That's complete disrespectful. It lacks decorum and it needs to be checked.
Mhm.
The fact that she thinks she has the power to even talk to someone like that live it's a problem.
It is.
I,
And
I
shit.
think that I think. Okay,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead,
Sorry.
go ahead, go ahead. No, no, no.
I want
All I'm gonna say is I'm out here from California. I live in Los Angeles County. I think that that's that Californian in her because a lot of women out here in California, they be doing that. Like they
agreed.
talk back to men, they be talking all kinds of reckless stuff. And I'm just saying, like, I think because somebody had just came on before and said that she's from Oakland, dude, I think that's that California, like, coming at her because they don't really respect a lot of us out here. They talk to us, they call us all kinds of everything, but we got to give them honor and praise, and you know what I mean. But go ahead, go ahead.
I agree. And the problem with Malika, look, have you? I'm not trying to get personal with Malika, but have you noticed that she become more big headed ever since NBA Today has been a thing? Because before NBA Today, she was humble. She brought facts to her points. She knew what she was talking about. You loved Malika as a reporter. I'm talking about before NBA Today. Ever since the show has come, she speaks a bunch of BS. Her opinions are wrong and disrespectful on certain things, and she like the Kobe thing, like comparing the Lakers 2013 to the Lakers last year was totally stupid. Disrespecting Kobe like that, and also this, like you said, going on to first take and just yelling at Stephen A. And you don't even have facts to back up your point. Stephen A. never implied about woman. All he implied was either Boston tries to find a way to solve things with Udoka. If you want your point and your opinion to be listened to, know what you're talking about. If you're Malika, don't just talk to talk and say a bunch of nonsense and think people should listen to that. Because I don't listen to BS. Okay, I always hear people's point, but I don't listen to BS or just flat out wrong beliefs. Because the problem with Malika, she doesn't know how to, let's say, back her points with any common sense, and and she kind of acts as if she knows all the answers, but she doesn't.
I mean, I feel like that's that whole kind of you know how women are. They can always try to put themselves in like a said position, and then they go based off of emotion instead of
Facts.
rationality. Like they don't think rationally; they just go based off of emotion. Even though
Hmm.
we know that women are more emotionally driven. Like when they get into a certain mode, or if a certain said like circumstance happens, they can automatically put themselves in that woman's position, and then they have
Right.
that empathy. Like with us as guys, we try to do that, we're demonized. Oh, you guys all think the same, you're this and that. Like you see, it's always a double standard for the women's part in that part, because you know I can understand they might have had traumatizing experiences in the past, but that's not to say the same that men don't. And then, but you know, she's just got a platform, and I'm gonna be honest with you, like I just gotta call it out. I believe that she's a black feminist. I really do. I believe that she's a black feminist.
Why you say that though?
Just because well, number one is because she did attack a little bit when it came to Kobe, and then
True.
with this situation, this has to be more outright because when Kendrick Perkins was talking about accountability, I remember he said the word accountability. It took probably like 48 seconds later for her to cut him off when he was starting to go in diving about, well, what about the woman's punishment? We understand
Hmm.
about Ime Udoka, but then all of a sudden she cut him off there and then was talking about, well, this whole private, what is it, third party investigative law firm, they were the ones that did the investigation, and this is, you know, this is the report they gave out. But the report doesn't give out punishments. It just says that due to our investigation, this is the information we found out. They don't have the ability to give out, you know, punishments. That's
Hmm.
by the organization. And so for the organization just to only attack Ime Udoka and like punish him and not the other party, but everything is consensual, we now have a problem.
Right.
Because now where's the accountability? So that means, let's say this
I agree.
female staffer, she could possibly do this again.
I agree. That's a good point. That's a good point. I did not think of that. They gotta if you're the owner of Boston, his name's WYC. If you're WYC and also Brad Stevens, you gotta look at the other staff. Like you just said, the woman who convinced Udoka to do the crime, maybe she might do it again. So why not punish her too? That's a good point. I agree.
Yeah, and also, was it WUC Wick? The
Yeah.
Yeah.
owner, he said that this was a gut decision.
Oh,
It's
so
not
that,
the
but
way think.
that's on instinct. That's not even logical. You just did it off of like, oh, this is what I feel like in my stomach. But that's
Right,
not rational.
exactly. That's why I wanna ask LB is Ime can sue. This is a gut decision. This is ruining his reputation. I think that the public humiliation is worth millions, just for him and me along. Period.
Right.
The fact that this is a gut decision is just troublesome.
Agreed. That's a good point. And not to leave Malika. This is gonna hurt the Celtics for next year. I mean, think about it. You have all this hoopla with Udoka, Neil Long, and the staff, the Celtic staff. Then and who knows? Tatum and Brown and Smart and Horford could ask for a trade, and even Robert Williams too.
Shoot, you just destroyed the team right there. That this team is gone if you do that. Shoot, that's all the major pieces gone right there. That means the
Yeah,
Celtics are now irrelevant.
Exactly. So I mean, look, everyone deserves blame for this. Obviously, Udoka should have kept his ding dong in his pants. The staffer shouldn't have. The Celtic staffer shouldn't have tried to convince him to do it. And the owners, I felt WYC Gruzbeck, that's the Celtics owner, and Brad Stevens kind of overreacted. I think Udoka should have been suspended for like 20, 25 games and a fine. That's it, not the whole year.
right. But the thing is that he said this is a gut decision. He didn't say that this is a recommendation from the law firm. He said it's a gut decision, which is I could see if it was a recommendation from the law firm to find him, an amount and then dismiss him for a year, but it's not.
Shoot,
Right.
this is you basically put him on the same plane as Robert Sarver, who had been doing this for 18 years. Because remember, he had a year suspension, $10 million fine. This is a year suspension and an undisclosed fine. And
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, so you
Yeah.
just put him messing with having a consensual relationship as opposed to a man who we know is exposing his stuff to other staffers, creating a very toxic and unsafe workplace. Ime Udoka didn't create an unsafe workplace. He was just dealing consensually with another woman who was a staffer. Different from
Right.
Robert Sarver, who's really threatening women for their job, exposing himself, sending pornographic material to other staffers and employees in the company. That's way worse. But you're trying to equate it and put it on the same level, which you literally can't.
Right.
What's
Right.
up, Will? Wait, what, huh? Salute to y'all. Appreciate y'all for being up ahead.
Literally.
Go ahead, continue.
I don't get. It's just terrible. I mean, the problem with women, I'm not saying all women, I'm not saying all, just some women like Malika Andrews, like you said, lack of accountability and lack of discipline. She needs to learn how to be disciplined and needs to learn to not be quick to judge. At least hear people's points, and then you can judge it if they're illogical. Don't be quick to just jump on the point. At least hear the full story first. I felt Malika took way too soon, did it way too soon with Stephen A. And look, I know Stephen A can say some things that are flat out ridiculous, like comparing Donovan Mitchell to the other Jazz players and all that. But Stephen A sometimes, I said sometimes, does make good points to his arguments. Stephen A, look, I felt bad for Stephen A and Perk, and even Perkins, right? He was just even talking more about the situation. He even works for the Boston Celtics as an analyst and as a former player. So for you to cut off Perk that early was flat out stupid and disrespectful. And it's just unbelievable. At least let them speak their point, hear their point of view, and you can choose to listen to it or not. Okay? Don't be quick to just judge and throw them away. You know, like she needs to learn to discipline. She needs to learn accountability, like you guys said. And she needs to learn to not be so big headed. You're not perfect, okay, Malika? You have flaws. We all have flaws. You're not perfect, okay? Learn to hear people's point out. You can choose to listen to it or not, and also just criticizing, jumping the gun. That's just wrong, man. I don't get it. That's just wrong, man. I don't get it.
Now you're
Hey,
right.
hey, bro,
All right. On
I'm
that
just
note, all right, I'm about to end the stream on that note. I think you know, just know this will be the last time I talk about this because there's other things that we need to focus on, like Brett Favre and Robert Sarver. These other
Right,
Yes.
white
Let's see.
supremacists.
right,
Do that welfare king Brett Favre.
Oh, I've done. The videos are up. I've done about 2 or 3 videos about Brett Favre. Oh, so this leads me to another point, right?
okay,
Everybody that's on this chat room, make sure you refresh your notification bell, your notification settings on your mobile device. If you do it on your that way you'll know when I come on live. Um, you have to do it on your phone though, because if you just do it through the computer and don't do it on your mobile device, you're not going to get notified. I spoke with YouTube about why am I not my subscribers not getting notifications, and then that's what they told me. So just
right.
make sure you refresh your notification setting on your mobile device. I have the videos up about Brett Favre. I laid it out in detail about what Brett Favre did. I did that like a week before all these white media outlets did it. I laid out the text messages and all that. I talked about that before they did.
Right.
I talked about
Right.
the whole thing about Brett Favre being hooking up with a guy to try to treat concussion pills and all that. Um, so that way they could sell it to the NFL because Brett Favre party in crowd when it comes to NFL, he's a Hall of Famer. You got this drug that can cure concussions. Hey, you get the FDA to pass that and get it certified. You can sell that to the NFL, and make buku money.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. I didn't even know that.
Wow.
See, you only heard, but hey, the video is up. I laid out a detailed explanation about Brett Favre. The video is called had uh, "The FBI has Brett Favre under investigation."
Mm.
That's the video.
I'm gonna go check that out in your archives. I'll definitely go listen to that one.
Yeah, the video is up in my archives. I did it about 2 weeks ago. All right,
Yes,
wait,
sir. Thank
what
you.
you got? What you got on this one? Because after you say something, I'm gonna end the stream.
Yo, what's good? Shout out to LB. Salute to the chat. Shout out to the
Salute.
panel. I want to say fuck Boston. I don't like how they execute this. They pussy. I don't like how they. Man, this is lame, dog. Like we in 2020, bruh. Y'all niggas been screaming for the last 7, 8 years. Men and women are equal in everything, even though that's not factual. But especially when it comes to the statute of what's going on in offices, the fuck? So it's okay to slaughter a nigga all day, but don't even put out the woman? I don't even care about, oh, what about the other women? Fuck that. The fact that you allow one side to be so tainted while the other one is amused, not even like not even being.
You still there?
Hello? My
Yeah,
bad. My
yeah.
shit.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my shit went off the stream for a second. But nah, like I said, bro, like Brad Stevens pulling that fake ass, oh, we care about women. Nah, nigga, you would have been into this shit. You had a couple days prior to this. You could have executed this way more better. I keep hearing like Matt Barnes, you lame ass nigga. You put out a post, you slaughtered Boston, and you came back with a more cryptic video. Oh my god, it's 100 times uglier. Who the fuck talk like that, nigga? 100 times uglier? Bro, this is no violence. Nobody got murdered. Nobody got forced upon. The fuck is this, man? You distracting from other fucking problems, bro. And that shit lame. I'm hearing niggas saying this is the biggest scandal of the summer. What the fuck did you just read about from the Suns? This nigga dropped his pants and presented his dick to fucking bitches, but y'all saying Iguodala is so worse. Y'all niggas make me sick, man. You sick. I don't know. I'm just saying, bro. Like, dog, listen, bro. It's sad, bro. And black men, bro. I seen a nigga. I don't know if he was like he an office type of nigga, like a Congress or some shit. He over here simping for Nia Long. Like these niggas out here.
And while we have technical difficulties with GPS signal,
Yeah, I be
the hell
going
with
off.
you. We ain't outside. Salute to you for being up in here.
You
Who else
already
is
know.
up in here that just got up in here? Well, salute to you, my sister, for being in the chat. What's go ahead, continue with your point. Wait, what? You still there? He got technical difficulties at the moment. But anywho, I give a salute to Terry Smoot, Keith Cunning, Keith Cunningham, Gideon for coming up in here with the other brother Nathan, and then he came up in here. Salute to him. Um, yeah, wait, what was cooking? What's up, Mike G? I see you up in here. Salute to you as well. And just be on the lookout for the next video I drop. Make sure you refresh the notification settings on your mobile device. When it comes to my channel, YouTube been putting the screw to me. I've been shadow banned. I've been everything else, but that's not going to stop me from putting out this content. And I appreciate everyone's love and support as we continue on through this journey together. And I'm 8 subs away from 1,500. I sure already been at like 3,000, 4,000 by now. But hey, we're not gonna cry over spilled milk around here. We just gonna keep on building. We just gonna keep on growing together. Now, if you're not a subscriber to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share these videos on your social media platforms, and shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. Hey!